Hello again. I want to say a special thank you to those of you that have been brave enough to subscribe to these videos. And at least I don't want to let you people down. I don't feel led really to make I don't think I want to make any more videos after this one. The world's not paying much attention to what I'm doing, and my time and my life has become a little bit more complicated, and I don't really have a lot of time to dedicate to this stuff. But I would if I felt that it was doing some good, but I'm not getting, judging by the comments that are on the videos, people are scared to let it be known that they're having anything to do with this website. But I want to help the American people at this time, but not just the American people, but the people all over the world who have become disenchanted or discouraged by what they've seen happen. Biden didn't steal the election. He couldn't steal a cupcake out of the cupboard. He ain't got enough brains or enough ambition to do much of anything. But these are the kind of people that the Roman Imperial Rome has worked with over the years. They're pretty much losers, but they do what they're told. And these are the kind of people that Imperial Rome, the Vatican, and all their affiliates do business with. Because if they're Roman of character, they ain't going to associate with the Roman Empire and the federal mess anyway. But to the average person that thinks that God has let them down and failed them because Trump didn't get reelected, this message is really for you. I want you to recall in the Bible, and I won't try to turn to it, but I want you to recall when the devil took Jesus up on in an area of the earth and showed him the kingdoms of the world and all their glory. And the devil said to Jesus, he said, "All of this will I give unto thee." Jesus did not dispute the devil's authority in this regard. Jesus did not dispute that the devil owned these kingdoms. And I'd like you to pay attention to that. I'd like you to pay notice to that. This is the devil's world. This is his domain. And the money exchange, all of the things that go along with it, belong to him. It's his kingdom. Nobody wants to pay any attention to the Bible, but the Bible simply tells you what you have to look forward to. I told you in the beginning when this Trump thing started that it wasn't going to work. Trump is either one of the dumbest people that ever lived, or he was paid a considerable amount of money to simply lead people to a place where they could be dropped off. You know, you don't take people up, they can't fall very far. So if you really want to show people a discouraging moment, you take them up higher, and then you drop. After this Trump thing, people's going to be very discouraged about trying to change the way of the world order. When Bush announced back during his presidency, he said that the new world order. Well, there wasn't nothing new about it. It was the same Imperial Roman Vatican Empire that runs our world. And all they got to do is make up another division, call it federal, and people fall for it. So I want to recap the basic things as to why Trump didn't win this election. I want to let you know that if you don't have any interest in knowing this, then you're so mesmerized by the media, you're so brainwashed by the media that there's no hope for you. But nobody else is either dumb enough or brave enough, I don't know, to give you this information, because nobody's doing it. I want you to understand the fact that all these patsies for Fox News, all these Republicans that act like they're so pro-Trump, not one of them is telling you what they know. Not one of them is telling you that Rome is in total control of this earth, the election, everything. So we've got Imperial Rome, who is overseeing the entire planet, and they're not going to let anybody get elected that's going to mess up their plans. They wanted to do the border thing. Trump wanted to make the borders. He wanted to appeal to the American citizen as if we're going to have we're tired of being pushed around. We're tired of the foreigners and the federal government always disappointing us. We're going to think about the American people. We're going to bring jobs back here. We're going to do this and that. Well, and I've gotten to see just how discouraged people really are. But I'm going to tell you why you've suffered so much. Why the Protestant nation, since the early 1500s, has suffered so much. They got away from, number one, identifying their God. They stopped identifying. You say the word God, Rome says the word God on your dollar bills. In God we trust, but there's no identification. They stopped biblical baptism. It's very clear that Jesus' name baptism is the only baptism in the Bible for salvation. They quit doing that. God's church got away from that. God's people. This is back, they came over here in the early 1500s, and they quit doing it. They got to become more friendly with the world. They become greedy. They become want to own more property. They want to own things. They got away from God. And now here we are today. We're looking at all these religious phonies that they've catered to. They took on Rome's baptism, baptizing Father, Son, Holy Ghost the same way the Roman Empire baptizes. Why would you want to do anything that Rome does? They're ecumenical. They've lost their backbone. You know, if I just let myself go and tell you what I think, I did it in one of the videos. It got a lot of views. I'm very surprised. But I've become, my enthusiasm has waned. My hopes for people growing a backbone, looking at the only hope that there is for them, which is eternity through Jesus Christ. Without Him, we have no hope in eternity. We have nothing. Just death. That's it. So, God's early church, they began to migrate over here in the early 1500s. And I went into all that with the other videos. I know you don't want to, most of you don't want to take the time to watch that. But I know you're wanting something that's going to help you now. You want to get your president elected. You want to do this. You want to do that. But maybe now you'll start to see what a tight grip this wicked institution has on you. And maybe you already know this. Maybe you just, it's not a question of knowledge, because I'm finding out there's a lot of people that are aware of many of the things that I've talked about. So maybe knowing it really isn't the problem. It's just having the courage to do the right thing. The fortitude, the guts, to make a stand, to make the right thing, to make the right testimony, to make a testimony. Most of the people I know are too cowardly to make a testimony. And they still envision themselves just walking right up there with the Lord, you know? I mean, it's not that big a deal for you to just take a stand for the Lord. Forget about Donald Trump. He's not going to save you anyway. And one of the things that turned me off about him was that I was constantly bombarded with these text messages and these notices to send him more money. And it was just, I didn't fall for it. I'm not going to do that. I've never voted for anybody. I sent him a little bit of money when he first got on because I like the idea, but I hope that the rest of you is a little bit more intelligent than to give too much of that, because it wasn't going to go nowhere. It's hard for me to believe that this man, this Trump, didn't know who really ran this world. He made the comment once that Washington, D.C. wasn't a state. Well, if he knows that much, he went to a Jesuit university. It's hard for me to believe that this man didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what he was up against. I think he did. And I think he was playing the role he was told to play, which was to lead the American people to a higher pinnacle than they've been in a while, giving them hope. Just like that was about the same thing that Brexit thing did, that Brexit thing took off for the Europeans. All that was, the European Union is the Roman Catholic Empire. You have to understand that Imperial Rome has nothing. The Catholic Church in Imperial Rome, the Vatican, is almost like night and day. The Catholic Church was made as simply a cover for the federal con. They con the world out of their taxes and their property. You can't own any property in this world. There's not a place in this world that you don't have to pay taxes. There's not a country in this world that Rome is not taxing you. For those of you that have a hard time believing that the Roman Empire is filtrated all through this planet, find a country. You can get on Rome's Google, Imperial Rome's Google, and Google a country that has not been federalized. And they might even vaguely mention a one or two, but that doesn't mean they haven't done that, okay? Another thing that I find so humorous, and I can't believe that people are that stupid, this Zuckerberg, he don't have the brains to blow his nose. He's a punk. He's an idiot. He has no real intelligence to do what he's done, and to supposedly head this Facebook and this Bill Gates. He wouldn't have gotten near as far as he did without Rome's international help, this universal institution's help. All of your auto industries. I don't care if it's Chevrolet, Ford, what names you give them, they're all owned by the same conglomerate. Your insurance companies, there's only one insurance company. You've got all these things, and the old timers are saying, well, someday we're going to have a one world government. It's been here for a long time. It's been here for a long time. So I wanted to give some kind of closing to the efforts that I've put out. They just censor you. They don't let you say anything. They won't let you leave comments. This has happened to millions of people. It's happened to me. You are seeing the key elements of what they call communism, which Rome birthed. Rome invented communism, just like they invented the Muslim religion. They invented, if there's a religion on this planet, Rome stole the ideas, pieced together some ideas, and developed it. If it's existing today in the United States or any part of the world, a religion, Rome allows it to exist. And why wouldn't they? Their religion has no historical significance. The Catholic Church has nothing historical. If you go to a Catholic cemetery, you'll find out that you'll be hard-pressed to find a Catholic gravestone that's earlier than the 1800s. But there's many Protestant gravestones in this country that date back to the 1500s. So they've had to be secretive. They've had to be sneaky. They've had to... they put together governments because it's easier to seduce. If they had to go around and seduce every individual person on this planet, it would have been impossible. But if they can form government, and they can form it in such a way, as a matter of fact, the capital is actually in the shape of a woman's boob, breast. And they're sucking the wealth out of that conglomeration of government that they've created. Chick Publications, CHICK, I'm not in with them. I'm not in tight with anybody. Since Jack Chick died, I don't know where they're coming from. I know that they still pretend to, and they may, I don't know. But I don't have much contact with Chick publications, but I know there's a lot there that you can learn. I've checked it periodically to see if they're still in business. And, but I know that with this government it's showing a strong arm. And they're going to start censoring a lot of us people. We're not going to be able to say and do and enjoy the freedoms that we've had up to this point. I think they're going to slowly disappear. And if that doesn't tell you to, there's one other thing I remember. The King James Bible. I've noticed they've gone up in price. The actual King James Bibles are going up in price. The NIVs and the Jesuit Bibles, the Jesuit versions, are a lot easier to buy. And people go for this type of thing because they're more interested in what their kids are wearing, what schools they're attending, and all this stuff. And all of this education they're getting to make $1, they're being forced into this wicked system. And that one film on YouTube called The Vortex, that is a bigger deception. And I want to say this too. The Republicans that are trying to act like they're fighting so hard for Trump is actually bigger enemies than the Democrats. Because they're leading you in a direction that you easily fall into, and but they're not telling you the truth. Now, one of these Republican idiots are telling you who's running this show, why it's being done, and who's behind this. But ever since they started bad-mouthing Trump, you've noticed there's all kind of videos on you. I don't watch TV much, but it's the same. I watch enough to see the same. They're praising the Pope every chance they get. He can do no wrong. But this is the patterns that I was talking about once. If you'll see the pattern, you'll see a pattern that the Pope can do no wrong. He's a great guy. They'll splatter some mud on his outfit just enough to try to make it look like it's real. If they think that they're being seen, if they think it's becoming obvious, they'll start to say just enough to make it look like he's touchable. You know, but I want you to, for those of you that do have a heart after God, to watch and pray, and you're not going to get much on the television sets and YouTube and all that junk. Zuckerberg and they had those guys on the front of the Congress. I don't know, but everyone, they just looked like pot smoking bums. It was a joke. I mean, but Rome's always done it this way. You can see it. You can see a little bit of a true man's character coming out. These guys were potheads. They didn't own anything. And Rome's not going to let anybody own anything that powerful. Do you honestly believe that Rome is going to allow any of these people when they wouldn't even let... There's no branch of our government that operates without Rome's supervision. The Red Cross, the Nazis operated under Rome's supervision. They're not going to let this massive form of communication fall into the hands of somebody that can just say what they want to say. They're not going to allow that. They're going to censor everything on that YouTube as well as what's on TV. You're not going to make a movie. The actors can't tell you the truth. The ones that's been around Hollywood long enough, some of them actually know what's going on. They know some of what's going on. They know not to tell you, because anybody that lets this slip is done. So, I wasn't really in the frame of mind to make this video, but I just want to tell you that I appreciate those of you that have followed me and made positive comments on the videos. And I just want to say thank you.